Thirukkural through stories, story number 19. No rains, no charity, and no penance. Sundaralingam was highly devoted to his parents. Every year, on a particular day, Sundaralingam hosted a feast for the people in his village in memory of his parents. He had been doing this for the past several years. Sundaralingam insisted that everyone in the village participate in the feast. Even the wealthy people of the village, who would otherwise feel shy of participating in such mass feeding events, would participate in the feast hosted by him. The only exception was Veera Raghavan, who was living an ascetic way of life and followed the practice of keeping away from such feasts. However, his family members would participate in the feast. For the past several years, Veera Raghavan has been living a life of austerity, or rather, a life of penance. For several days during a year, he would fast for the whole day on some count or other. Though he looked emaciated with his bones showing, his face was always beaming with what can be called a spiritual glow. On the days Veeraraghavan fasted, one couldn't see any sign of fatigue or weakness on his face. His face would only reflect serenity and happiness. Did you hear the news? This year, Sundaralingam is not going to host the feast in memory of his parents. Not only that, he is going to stop this practice altogether, said Veeraraghavan's wife, Pankajam. What is the reason? Asked Veeraraghavan. It seems someone told him that it was enough if ceremonies for a deceased person were conducted till 25 years after the person's death. Sundaralingam has told his friends, I have learned that it is stipulated that annual rituals for a deceased person be performed till 25 years after the person's death. I have been hosting the feast in memory of my parents for 30 years, so I decided to stop this practice from this year. It is not surprising that he took this decision, but I think that the real reason for his taking this decision could be different, said Veeraraghavan. What do you mean? The monsoon has failed for the past 3 years. In our village, the agricultural activities have dwindled. The businesses have also not been doing well. People have been somehow surviving by tightening the belt. But activities like mass feeding become significant during times like this. Won't you agree? Yes, you are right. But Sundaralingam is not a wealthy person. Like us, he also belongs to the middle class. He is a small farmer. He has a family to support. The annual feast he has been hosting would have strained his finances even during normal times, but he has been continuing this with great difficulty because of the dedication he has for his parents. With the monsoon having failed for the past 3 years at a stretch and survival itself having become a burden for many people, his having continued this mass feeding during the last 2 years was a great feat. Only on realizing that in the present circumstances he won't be able to bear the expenses of hosting a feast for the entire village, he would have decided to give up this activity. He would have unconsciously felt the need to rationalize his decision and come out with this reason, said Veeraraghavan. But why should he stop it completely? He could have stopped it this year and resumed it next year, asked Pankajam. If activities like this are interrupted once, it will be very difficult to resume them. The guilt of having stopped the activity once will be haunting a person throughout his life. It will be better to discontinue the activity, citing some reason. It will give the person a sense of relief. You are stating your own assumptions about what Sundarlingam's thinking would have been, aren't you? Yes, I am saying this based on my assumptions. But my assumptions are based on my own experience, said Veeraraghavan with a faint smile. In the case of Sundaralingam, he needed money to host the annual feast. But I have given up the rituals I have been doing in the early morning, which didn't involve spending any money, he continued. You have stopped your early morning rituals. I didn't notice it, said Pankajam in astonishment. Since I have been doing these early morning rituals, even before you are getting up in the morning, you might not have seen me doing them. Therefore, you could not have noticed me stopping them either. But why did he stop those rituals? I used to get up in the early morning, go to the river, bathe in the river, do the rituals sitting on the bank of the river and return home. After the failure of the monsoon, the river became dry. So I drew water from the well in the backyard of our house, took bath and did the rituals sitting at home. After some time, the water level in the well has also gone down. I found it difficult to draw water from the well. Sometimes, when I felt too weak to draw water from the well by exerting myself, I would think, what if I skip the rituals today? Then I started thinking, I've been doing these rituals earnestly and regularly for the past many years. I'm getting older and physically weaker. Why shouldn't I discontinue this? Eventually, I discontinued the rituals and I feel relieved now. I think that Sundaralingam might have been in a state of mind similar to mine, said Veeraraghavan. If you found it difficult to draw water from the well, you could have woken me up. I would have drawn water from the well for you, said Pankajam. You have been drawing water from the well several times a day for cooking, washing the dishes, etc. It would not have been fair on my part to have burdened you with more work. It is not a burden for me to help you in performing your rituals, protested Pankajam. Rituals are to be performed by a person by exerting his physique. Doing rituals by making another person strain himself or herself is not austerity or penance, but a crime, asserted Veeraraghavan firmly. So, see what a range of consequences results from positive rain. On the one side, charities get affected, as happened to the charitable act of Sundaralingam. On the other side, austerities, rituals, and individual does for his own spiritual development also get affected. The failure of rains is disastrous, said Veeraraghavan with a sigh. Thirukkural, Section 1, The Path of Virtue, Chapter 2, The Glory of Rain. Verse 19 in Tamil. தானம் தவம் இரண்டும் தாங்கா வியன் உலகம் வானம் வழங்காது எனின். Meaning, there are no rains, both charity and penance will cease to exist in this vast world. Thank you for watching this video. Please like it, share it and subscribe to our channel. I will meet you again with another video. Thank you again.